It's 18 to 6. This is Tradie Tuesday on ABC Radio Hobart. Talking tools this morning with Paul Davis, who is a carpenter joiner and has a very, very serious approach to ordering his tools. G'day, Paul. How are you going?
Good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, really well, thank you. How do you keep your tools?
Carefully would be the answer to that. I've got a custom-made toolbox that I built myself. It's one of the things I actually do is build toolbox fit-outs, and I believe that everything having a spot and everything being in its place not only looks after the tools but makes sure you don't lose them and gives you speed to access. So, there's no disadvantage to a really good toolbox.
When you're designing a toolbox, what are the factors that you keep in mind?
Look, there are a lot of things that we take into account. I started building cases for moving things back in my apprenticeship over 20 years ago for the Antarctic Division. And ergonomics was a big thing with them. They were one of the first people to do it, where lifting things out and making sure that things come out in an order and that you're not bending over to get into it and so on and so forth was a big consideration. That's continued. So speed of access, control when it's in a moving position, so when things are locked, closed, and making sure that things don't fly around in the back of the ute and that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of things to take into account. The position of weight in a vehicle, so it can all influence how well it works.
In terms of ergonomics, they must get heavy really fast.
They can do, and these days in a world of lift limits and so on and so forth, slide-out handles, wheels, all these things have become a bigger consideration. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's even automated toolboxes that you can quite literally remote control onto site these days. So it depends on the weight of what you're looking to move and contain. But, they do get very heavy very quickly.
What about keeping them sharp inside the box? Because I imagine if you jumble tools, they must then just wear each other down.
Look, a lot of the time, keeping them in a leather wrap is one of the best ways for chisels and things like that, and blades. I fit out all my toolboxes and everything with actual timber, because timber does a couple of different things in that it won't damage blade edges as much. It also has a good ability to absorb water, so if you've got a bit of a splash on the tool when you put it away, you don't want it sitting in there soggy, so it'll start to rot away. So you need to make sure you keep it dry as well.
And when you're on site, how do you protect your tools from other men getting their hands on them and other workers?
Look, you never want another bloke getting on his hand on your tool without you knowing about it. But the trick that I employ is that, and you'll see that a lot of tradesmen's equipment is painted, so they get a spray can and painted a certain colour. My tools are all actually colour matched to my ute. I quite like my ute, which has also got my full kit toolbox on the back of it, and it's got drawers and everything in it. So the colour match allows you to have like a DNA on your tools, so that if there's ever an argument about whose tool it is, whose battery is that, then the colour match to my ute, I can wander outside and go, see, matches my ute, mate, it's mine. Thank you, bye.
That is like the simplest and best idea. Do people do that a bit? Swipe batteries and claim tools?
Usually
is it usually innocent?
It's not intentional. Tradies are all pretty good with each other's stuff. I can't say that everybody's the same, like leaving a toolbox unlocked outside a site, the walker past and so on and so forth, I wouldn't say are as reliable, but most of the time it's an accident with tradesmen nicking each other's tools, and that the paint sort of helps that, because when they go to pick it up, they go, it's got blue paint on it, because we've all got mostly the same batteries, we've all got the same chisels. There's only so many variants around there.
I've got a friend who's a prodigious lender of books. Okay, it's Rachel, the producer of Breakfast, and I'm now on her blacklist because I haven't returned a book within sufficient time. She tracks it. When you've lent someone a tool, how much credit do they get before they're on your blacklist? They never get a tool again.
Return a tool in worse condition than you found it. You'll soon have me go no. And in all honesty, I don't lend tools. It's someone that's on site that needs a hand, and I can keep an eye on the equipment and it's back within sort of 20 minutes, half an hour, then I'd lend them. But for the most part, I don't lend tools. They're my source of income. It's how I pay my bills. And if someone else breaks it, then I have to replace it or fix it. And it doesn't really work for me. So I don't tend to lend tools.
Okay. So that seems to be like the safest way to play it as you're doing it. What's happening on the job that you're on now in terms of tool storage?
So at the moment, I'm actually building some custom tool storage for the Tas fire equipment guys. Now, these guys are probably one of the best set out I've seen as far as their tool layout is concerned. We're producing a full drawer and workshop system for the back of their new vans, and everything is very carefully laid out, going back to ergonomics. These guys have special processes as to lifting everything. Their safety protocols are absolutely top-notch. You'd sort of expect that coming from the fire industry, and fireys being probably the most organised people on the face of the planet. We're building some heavy-duty storage there. These guys, really are quite specific and make sure that, for example, in a crash situation, that everything's going to be contained and things aren't going to be flying out. But then also they can access everything very quickly to get in there and service whatever systems that they need to. So it's all about working out the way that you work and how you actually operate and what things need to be accessible quickly and what stuff can be tucked away where it's a little hard, hard to get to.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that in a crash. That'd be pretty dangerous on the move, wouldn't they?
It certainly can be, and people often overlook, like, for example, in the back of vans, when you've got to realise that if you stop in a hurry, all those tools are coming towards the front of the van. They're going to come through you and out the windscreen. So it's really important.
So graphic.
The problem is it really is in real life. Things flying from the back of the vehicle forward can be a real consideration. And when you think about it, things that are flying at you are things like rip saws and hammers and chisels and things like that. It's not a pretty sight.
Well, it's nothing good. Now, we know that your real estate agent's assessing a person by the quality of their footwear. In the professional circuits and the office circuits, it might be a shawl or, again, the shoes. On a building site, are you looking at a man's toolbox to get a measure of, or a tradie's toolbox to get a measure of what sort of person they are, Paul?
Toolbox.
Are you judging?
Am I judging?
Yeah.
No, look, I think everybody has their own way of doing things. I know some guys that work in total chaos, and they are totally talented tradesmen. They're some of the best I know. I know some guys that are so highly organised that they waste everybody's time and their bills are ridiculous. So there's a balance there that needs to be found of organisation versus speed.
Stephen wants to know, in your opinion, in your bones, is it okay to say no to a neighbour who wants to borrow a tool?
It's your tool, so yes.
There you go, Stephen. It's very simple.
I mean,
how do you say that nicely, though?
Well, at the end of the day, you go, well, look, mate, I need it at work. I can't lend it now, or and if you do lend it, you go, well, look, if you break it, you replace it, and point it out at that point in time. It's fine to help people and so on and so forth, but there is, there's a difference between helping someone and someone taking advantage and not actually carrying their own load. So it's one of those things that you assess it on the actual relationship with the person rather than the tool itself, if that makes sense.
Yes. Great to talk to you this morning, Paul.